Hello everyone, Dan Lucas with Credo here. Thanks for joining me here on my 50 States in 50 Days series. And we are on day 49. So 2 videos to go. And I'm sure you can guess what state we're on today. We're on Alaska. And Alaska was the 49th state admitted to the Union. It was admitted on January 3rd, 1959. Just about 7.5 months before Hawaii, which was the 50th state that was admitted to the Union. So, if you can guess, Alaska has a lot of credits and incentives around energy, exploration, oil, that type of stuff. And I'm going to talk about a couple different areas today. Again, there's a lot of tax credits around exploration in Alaska. There's just a ton of them, and there's a lot of different types. Some of them are related, some of them aren't. A lot of it comes in a package deal. A lot of them are kind of add-ons to additional ones that they basically say, hey, if you're doing exploration, and you're doing this, and you're doing this, you kind of like tack it on as you go. But there's, it's very obvious that there is a tremendous amount of credits against exploration, and that they're trying to reward exploration. They're trying to create jobs in this area, and they're using it as policy, right? They're using the tax code as policy, which is not bad or good, just kind of is what I'm seeing. So in any case, they have a lot of tax credits. I'm going to go through those. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on the exploration credits unless I feel like there's something to point out. But I'm going to talk about some of the other ones. They do have, some of the same things that other states have that aren't related to exploration, right? So we don't want to miss those. But then also I want to go through some of the economic incentives they have as well, because I think that if you look at how they've kind of used tax policy to encourage or incentivize certain behavior and economics, there are certain things that are kind of achieving the same thing, that have financial benefits. It's not necessarily called tax, but it's very similar. So I'm going to go into that as well, because I think that anybody that's watching this video is going to get some value from that. So, okay, so let's get started. So first thing is the Alaska tax credits, right? And they have a credit called the alternative credit for exploration. Now this is for taxpayers that have qualified exploration expenditures, and they're eligible for credits against oil and gas production taxes. Okay. They have there are several different areas where they list this type of credit, but they have tiny little nuances that are different. And so they have different sections of the Alaskan state income tax code or state tax code where they kind of list out these nuances. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but suffice to say, if you are in exploration in Alaska, whether you're a single taxpayer, a business owner, entrepreneur, contract worker, whatever, if you're not getting these credits, you definitely are missing something. You need to be looking at these credits in order to get these credits and take advantage of what they've laid out for you. Let's see, they even have, they have a specific credit that for people that if you have a loss carry forward and stuff from production tax values from prior year, I mean, that's like, it seems like they're thinking of anything and everything they can to make sure that they're providing you incentive and taking care of you if you're in the exploration industry. So they have several different things in that area. Let's see. Now here's something that's outside of exploration. They have something called the CDQ credit, and the CDQ credit is a non-transferable credit, which just means that you have to use it yourself. You can't sell it to someone else. The credit is for contributions to an Alaska nonprofit corporation that is dedicated to the fisheries industry and related expenditures. This credit is available only for fishery resources, and you get 100% of your contribution amount up to 45.45% of your tax liability. So that's pretty cool. That's that's an odd number, but 45.45. I don't know. Must have been some sort of compromise or something um, in the state senate or whatever, state legislature. But in any case, that's a pretty big percentage to allow. So if you are making any contributions to a nonprofit corporation, definitely want to be taking a look at the CDQ credit. Let's see. They have a credit under education, and the education credit, again, it's a non-transferable, because you can't sell it, and non-refundable credit. Non-refundable just means that if you don't owe any tax, then you can't benefit from it any further than just knocking your tax liability out all the way. It is, if it was refundable, that means that if you knocked your tax liability out all the way, you could still get some money back. In other words, they would cut you a check, right, for the additional amount. So that would be a refundable credit. Anyway, education credit's a non-transferable and non-refundable credit, which can be applied to the corporate income tax, the fisheries business tax, the fishery resource landing tax, the oil and gas production tax, the oil and gas property tax, or the mining license tax. Okay, so there's lots of ad valorem taxes in Alaska. Ad valorem means that they attach taxes to the value of goods and services that are moving throughout the local economy, or the Alaskan economy, or in and out of the state, actually. Let's see. And in those, taxpayers can claim a credit for contributions to Alaska universities and accredited nonprofit Alaska 2 or 4 year colleges. Okay, so it can be a 2-year degree, and yeah, and that's about it. So let's just leave it at that. So if you are if you're in school or looking to go to school, or looking for some vocational training, et cetera, you're going to want to look this up. Okay, there's a lot of I'm looking at some of the details. There's a lot of details involved in it. But at the same time, if you're looking to get some education, I would look at it. It seems like all you have to do is really basically just make contributions to the universities, and you can get a tax reduction. I mean, this is one of those things, like if you're in school, or if you have somebody in school, it looks like you could probably put enough money in here to knock out a lot of your Alaska state income tax, or certainly corporate tax. So anyway, education. Look at education if you're in Alaska. Let's see. Again, they have the exploration incentive, more exploration stuff. They have a film production credit. Okay, film credits are not atypical. They're not unusual. They have in a lot of states. Used to be not that many states, and now it's a majority of states. I think I can safely say they're a majority. And the film production tax credit. It actually started in 2013 in Alaska, and Alaska has a lot of beautiful scenery, right? So, anytime they would need mountains or any time of that scenery, they can make it attractive for you to do that in Alaska. Why wouldn't they? Just Alaska's got tremendous scenery, beautiful, beautiful country. I mean, beautiful state. Let's see. Looks like these things can be used until 2023. And yeah, so again, film production credits. I mean, if you're in the industry, I'm sure, it's something that you can look into, see if you're something you can get. If not, then, it's probably obviously not even worth looking at. All right, let's see. There's some more credits here for exploration wells, seismic projects, gas exploration. There's one for storage facilities, which has to do with energy. There's a minerals exploration incentive. That's kind of interesting. So the minerals exploration incentive, you get a credit for 100% of eligible costs of mineral and coal exploration activities, and it's applicable to the corporate income tax, the mining license tax, and a mineral production royalty. Credit may not exceed $20 million. Oh, it's a lot of money. And must be applied within 15 years after the credit is approved. Okay, so obviously minerals exploration can take a long time, right? And so if you have mineral rights in a property and you're there and you're doing that, you're going to definitely want to be taking advantage of this. Or if you're in a partnership that's investing in something like this, you want to make sure that either the managing partner or managing member of the LLC that might be doing the partnership the investment partnership is getting that credit flowing through to you, or that you're getting it yourself on your own return when you get your K1 that comes through. Okay, they have something called the New Area Development, and this credit is a tax credit of up to $6 million per company. This is corporate credit each year for oil and gas produced from Middle Earth, and what they're defining that as is leases outside Cook Inlet and the North Slope. And let's see, it is not certificated and is not transferable. Okay, so if you are, again, I think this is an add-on to other exploration credits, but this has to do a lot with just new areas that have not been worked on before. Okay, so it's I kind of read it as a wildcatting type thing, but I'm not positive on that, but to me it seems like it's a wildcatting type incentive. Okay, let's see, a lot of stuff on fishery, more stuff on fishery, industry. Let's see, there is some credits for production of actual oil, and shipping oil out, taking crude and refining it. Let's see, a lot of fixed asset and equipment type credits towards refinery, just in toward the oil and gas industry in general. Okay, here's one that's not gas. The salmon and herring product development credit. I can definitely tell you this is unique. I haven't seen this in any other states. Credit is for eligible capital expenditures to expand value-added processing of Alaska salmon and herring. The credit is 50% of qualified investments, up to 50% of the fisheries business tax liability incurred for processing salmon and herring during the tax year. So that's pretty neat. It's not a transferable credit, but it can be carried forward 3 years. So again, transferable means you just can't sell it to someone else. Sell the credits to someone else if you earn them. But this is pretty neat. I mean, if you're in this industry, and there's only so many industries there, right? So many major industries in Alaska, and a lot of people obviously go there seasonally, or they go there for a while to make money, and they pay premiums in Alaska to do that a lot of times. And these are the major industries that are there, right? So again, I can't encourage you enough. If you're in any of these industries and you're working, don't just assume that these are all just for businesses, okay? These are for contract workers too. Make sure you're getting these credits. If you're not, you're really selling yourself short. All right, let's see. The last one I'll talk about on the tax credit side is the Veteran Employment Tax Credit. And that credit is for corporate income taxpayers who employ qualified veterans in the state, right? I'm a huge fan of employing veterans, always have been, done it myself, and great good experiences. Credit in Alaska is $3,000 if you hire a disabled veteran, and $2,000 for a veteran who's not disabled. There's also federal credits in this area, so this is really a double dip credit. I love double dip credits where you get federal and state. And for at least, let's see, they just have to work full time. This is not a big deal. If it's a seasonal hire, credit's $1,000. So, again, low hanging fruit, right? And a lot of these, if these apply to you, you probably have more than one person, right? I mean, you probably have a pretty big operation. So, whether it's 1,000, 2,000, whatever, I mean, you're going to want to be making sure that you're getting these credits. Again, a lot of these credits are missed. I mean, you would think that when you look at these things, and I talk about these things on the video, you would think that people would just be grabbing this low-hanging fruit. It's free money, right? It's not the case. People just don't. I mean, people get busy. There's a lot of stuff crammed into the end of the year at tax time. Tax professionals are doing 1,000 returns, a year, and a lot of this stuff just kind of gets missed. So anyway, if this kind of stuff, if you're in these industries, in the fishing industry, in the exploration industry, anything in the energy industry, and if you're hiring veterans, hiring people in general, because there's federal tax credits too, you need to be looking at these credits. If you're not getting these, you're probably missing something. Okay, all right. So that's it for what Alaska is really deeming their tax credits, let's say. Now I want to flip over to the other side of what I was talking about earlier in the Division of Economic Development in Alaska. And there are a lot of business development incentives in Alaska. They have programs for loans, okay, so for financing. And if you're in the private sector, you're looking for startup money, you're trying to expand your business, and of course, and if it's targeted towards creating more employment, right, so more jobs in the state of Alaska, they'll give you loans for working capital, equipment, construction, even some other purposes. Um, you have to be creating jobs, and these loans, a lot of times they're looking for communities with populations that are 5,000 or less. So I would kind of think that means almost everything except for maybe Anchorage and Fairbanks, but I could be wrong. Um, but anyway, so that's really, you're creating jobs, and you need access to capital, and you're in a small town, um, which really that's most towns there. Let's see. They have something called the Small Business Economic Development (SBED). More kind of startup money, with some different requirements. They have different loan programs for commercial fishing and agriculture. They have a fund called the Alaska Growth Capital Fund, and that is for non-traditional borrowers and businesses that use innovative technology. And minority owned. Anyway, if you fit that bill. There's Commercial Fishing Loan Fund. There's Alternative Energy Conservation Loan Fund. That is says loans may be made to purchase, construct, and install alternative energy systems or energy conservation improvements in commercial buildings. Okay, these are not credits or exemptions per se, but these are loans that would be much easier to obtain than from a traditional bank and have favorable rates and terms and everything. So they're trying to, and they even have a micro loan program, which is specifically driven toward economic development in the state, by helping small businesses access needed capital. These are small businesses, okay? Probably, I'm thinking, let's see, probably looking at things like 10 people or less in the company. It doesn't have to be in any certain industry necessarily. Let's see. Maximum loan amount is $35,000 per person in your company. So if you're 5 employees and that's 6, right? So 6 times 35 is what? I'm putting myself on the spot. $210,000. Or you can get up to, let's see. Oh, it says you can get, it says 70,000. So it says 35,000 to a person, or up to 70,000 to 2 or more persons. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I do know what that means. I apologize. What that means is that you can only get 70,000. Okay, so these are micro loans, really small. They're looking for like 2-person company businesses. Okay, but if you have five people in your company and you want to get $70,000, here you go. Here's the micro loan program. Let's see. They have a special one for women entrepreneurs, and let's see. This one is only $10,000. I shouldn't say only, because that can get a lot of businesses started, but there is one that's specific to women, and it's basically seed money. It's $10,000 of seed money to start, develop, or stabilize a viable business. That's pretty neat. Yeah, try it. Why not? Okay, let's see. Again, in economic development, they talk a lot about oil and gas exploration tax credits. They talk about minerals exploration tax credit, film production tax credit, education tax credit. Let's see. Oh, they also have something called the Alaska Product Preference Program, which it's something run by the state, which is a preference that you can get that's applied to in-state bids on state contracts. So if the state is going out to do, maybe they send an RFP and they're looking for vendors, if you're in the state of Alaska, you can get preferential treatment to responding to those RFPs. Okay. And let's see, under the state's procurement code, which means basically, under the state's code for how they buy goods and services on behalf of the state, they can provide a local bidder or offer with a cost preference between 3 and 7%. Okay. Let's see. The last thing that I want to talk about here is something called the Made in Alaska, which is MIA. And it says the program's mission is to identify and promote products made, manufactured, or handcrafted in the state. And there's a lot of great natural resources in Alaska, so it makes some pretty cool things. Let's see. Can use the MIA logo, which is a couple polar bears. So it's actually a white polar bear with kind of a little black bear cub kind of thing. But anyway, it's a cool little logo. And it says the use of the MIA logo serves both producers and consumers by certifying product authenticity. Certified product range from small gift items to large industrial modules. So that's pretty neat. So basically, you know, those patches where it says like "Made in the USA," et cetera, et cetera. I think that's cool. I mean, I think if I saw something authentic from Alaska, that would actually be pretty neat. That would probably make me pick that over some other products. So that's pretty neat that they can help you kind of do that and put that little logo on there for you. It's almost like a certified made in Alaska thing. So I would think that would help and add some value to your product if that's something that helps you. You know, that's really about it. I mean, again, I do want to stress that if you live in Alaska, you know, don't discount the fact that there's a lot of federal credits. You know, federal credits are beyond the scope of these videos, but in the, you know, we've gone over the state credits, and there is a double dip credit there as far as like education credits, I think. And so if you're spending money on not training, but vocational university or bachelor's degree university, et cetera, you're going to want to get federal and state credits. And if you're up there, definitely if you're up there seasonally working in one of these bigger industries, you're going to want to be looking at these credits, and especially if you're the employer. If you want to get started up there as an entrepreneur, they have great microloan programs. And like we said, they have a special one for women, which is $10,000 to get started. So, and you can start a lot of great businesses for $10,000. Anyway, that's it for Alaska. Appreciate you watching. If any questions about any of these, send us an email, put a comment in the video. We'd be happy to research anything for you on a case-by-case basis. Myself or my team will do that for you. And if anything I left out, please make a comment there. We want to get as much information out on this as we can, so to help people. Any wisdom of the crowd where you've had experience with any of these things, good or bad, please let us know so we can just kind of use this as a little community chat room if that's what it turns into. So, all right, thank you, and I will see you on the next video.